Once I've found that cutting edge, I'm just going to keep some firm pressure, and I'm going to make small circles all the way back and forth. Obviously, be careful when you're doing this. Don't cut yourself. All the normal stuff that you would come to expect. Like, just don't be a fool. One thing that I like to do is I like to pinch the edges of the stone on either side with my thumb and my index finger. Just helps keep it stable. And I keep the height of my hand lower than the knife, so I'm not going to like slice my finger or something when I'm doing these small circles. So I'm just working these small circles. I'm just kind of polishing that edge back into place. That's what I want you guys to think of when you're doing this. You're not necessarily like, you're not grinding it or anything like that. I'm just gently polishing this edge back into place the way it's supposed to be. Just making those small circles. So I just did that for a little while, and I can look at the edge and I can see it's getting pretty well polished. So I'm just going to flip over to the other side now. I'm going to find my angle again, just kind of tilt it back and forth, and you can feel it. Once I've hit that, I'm just going to keep doing my circles again. I like to work the entire edge of the stone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You don't want to just stay on the same rhythm the entire time, because what you'll end up doing is you'll destroy your stone. You will work like a saddle into it. Actually, let me grab my dad's old stone just to show you. This is my dad's old whetstone that he gave me. Notice how it's got like a saddle cut into it, just because there had been continuous work in one direction, you know what I mean? Or back and forth, back and forth. That's why I like to do the circles, and I work the entire surface of the stone. That way I'm going to minimize damaging the stone and just extend its service life. So I'm just going to keep working those circles back and forth, up and back and forth across the edge of the stone. Now, I've talked to a lot of people about knives and knife sharpening, and some pretty well-known, or not necessarily well-known, well, yeah, some of them well-known. I've talked to quite a few cats about knife sharpening over the years, and one person I was talking to is a pretty accomplished outdoorsman. He flat out said, I don't sharpen my knives just because, like, I don't want to take the time. And for me personally, I think that's kind of cheating. I feel like any well-known and well-rounded outdoorsman you should be a jack of all trades. Like, just like the days of the pioneers. Like in the days of the pioneers, like, they made their own knives, they sharpened their own knives. They would hunt and they would process their own game, and they would garden and they would harvest. They would harvest their own animals. Then they would turn that harvested meat into a variety of different things that you can eat on. Like, they would make salt pork. They would render the fat down into tallow, and then they'd use the tallow to make pemmican and all of these things, these lost arts. The things that really kind of made Americans was just the versatility and the resilience of the people that kind of made this country what it is. So this is going to sound harsh, but like, to me, if you're not willing to like sharpen knives or learn how to sharpen knives, like, you're kind of giving up on a little bit of your ancestry there, because that's kind of a part of what made us win the West, is dudes being able to do many things. So I'm still just working those circles. You notice how the oil is starting to turn dark, kind of blackish gray. That is metal. That's material. That's not the stone, because the color of the stone, the fine edge is actually, it's like red. But this has been sharpened on so many times, the top of it is kind of turned gray from that very finely powdered metal that I'm removing from the edge. So you don't have to do this a lot to get a good edge. I'm doing this particularly because I was kind of mean to the edge. I scraped it across the rough edge and I completely knocked my edge off. So I'm kind of repolishing the whole thing back into place. Make sure you get that tip sharpened too, because like, especially when, if you go into like, if you're gutting an animal or doing some fine work, or let's say like you're working on some natural materials that you're working with in the wild, maybe you're working some leather, it's important to have a very good fine tip. So make sure you get that tip sharp.